who all is there in the neighborhood, many people are not aware only. If you ask them name of five neighbors, they'll get puzzled because they don't connect themselves to the neighbor. They believe their world starts beyond home. With Hindi, surviving in SSB is not possible.
Yes.
And frankly speaking, with Hindi, you may not come to second stage. A good assessor will never recommend a radicalized mind.
Yes.
We don't want radical people. We don't want people who have any strong opinion against anything.
Sir, one thing I've seen that many candidates ask me कि सर वो ना multiple questions पूछते साथ में और मुझे याद नहीं रहते,
Yeah.
तो क्या कैसे करें? So what is
इसके
your
कोई
advice to them, sir?
But let's understand कि hobbies versus games में difference है बहुत बड़ा. Games is what you play as a sports.
तू चलता चल, तू चलता चल, तू चलता चल, तू बढ़ता चल, तू बढ़ता चल, तू बढ़ता चल, तू लड़ता चल, तू लड़ता चल, तू लड़ता चल, तू बढ़ता चल, तू बढ़ता चल, तू बढ़ता चल।
जय हिंद, वंदे मातरम और भारत माता की जय। स्वागत है आपका द फौजी शो में। द फौजी शो में सामाजिक जिम्मेदारी की तरफ एक विनम्र कोशिश है। इस शो से इकट्ठा किया हर पैसा भारत के वीर फाउंडेशन में जाएगा ताकि हमारे शहीद भाई बहन की फैमिलीज को कोई भी आर्थिक समस्या ना आए। आपकी एक लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब से किसी की सहायता हो सकती है, क्योंकि मैं खुद एक एक्स एनडीए हूँ और नेशनल डिफेंस एकेडमी में 3 साल ट्रेनिंग किया हूँ। मैं सम्मान करता हूँ हर उस भाई बहन का जो सरहद पर है, ताकि हम जैसे लोग, आप और मैं, चैन की नींद सो सके।
जय हिंद, वंदे मातरम एंड भारत माता की जय। स्वागत है आपका द फौजी शो में। वी हैव अ वेरी स्पेशल गेस्ट विद अस. His name is Commander Ranjan sir. He has over 20 years of experience in the Indian Armed Forces. He has over 2,500 interviews done and many years of experience in the service selection boards, multiple boards पे वो भी. Today he will share with us how to prepare for SSB and many frequently asked questions of aspirants. So stay tuned. Also, if you want to get your personal interview done, link is in description at Fauji Academy. And if you want the whole course or you want to come under the guidance of Commander Ranjan, his link is also in the description and pinned comment. So do check that out as well. Sir, so before now, since we're starting, sir, can you please elaborate how one should prepare for SSB interview battery, sir?
Yeah, very good evening, everyone. And Simrat, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Just a small introduction. I was an interviewing officer. I was part of Air Force Selection Board and Coast Guard Selection Boards. So our idea today is to speak about what exactly is Service Selection Board interview per se, and what are the things that you must do or not do as far as only interview part is considered. First and foremost, what you got to understand is that this is not any academic interview. Many people confuse this with academic interview and they try to prepare for a lot of knowledge. Knowledge per se is required, but it is not academic interview. Knowing facts, knowing, chief minister's name, knowing prime minister's name, knowing capital's name, that definitely builds up your RA. But what exactly this is 110% a psychological interview. So what interviewing officer is interested is to know you through you. When we say to know you through you means what? He basically speaks or wants to learn more about you through you. So he allows you to speak. A good interviewing officer is the one who lets you speak 95% of the time. So more you speak about yourself, more the things you uh, put it in the air, and from there he keeps grabbing and then keeps throwing it back to you in bits and pieces, and then you speak more. And this is how the sequence continues. Now, structuring of the interview is very, very well designed, and it has developed over a period of time. DIPR, which is the motherboard of all SSPs, they have really worked hard to design to what kind of interview should be there and what kind of questions should be asked. So, first part is predominantly about your academic evolution, your evolution as a person, What kind of sports did you play? What kind of subjects that you chose? What has been your major domain of life? If you have chosen this, why this? Why not that? What kind of sports did you play? To what level could you excel? Did you excel or not? Then did you participate in other extracurricular activities, for example, NCC, or for example, anything like debates, quizzes, uh, any kind of events that might have happened? Were you part of it, or you just whiled your time all through while? Neither is excelled in academics, nor in EC, nor in NCC. So, what kind of life have you lived? Then, what kind of ambitions do you carry for yourself? That is a reflection on uh, your personality. For example, there are people who say, "Ki, sir, I'm preparing for government exams." So I ask them what kind of government exams. So they say, "Ki, sir, any kind of government, including clerical grade." Now, someone is preparing for clerical grade also, and he's also appearing in the interview for defense officers. There's a lot of dichotomy. It is not understood. Similarly, there are people who will say, "Ki, what is your plan? Why did you took mechanical engineering?" They say, "Ki, sir, I took mechanical engineering because I love core engineer." Okay, then what is the next plan? The next plan is, "Ki, sir, I will appear for bank job." There's a lot of variation. He's not even clear what does he want to do.
Yes.
Suppose a mechanical engineer wants to appear for MTech,
Yes, sir.
and after MTech he wants to pursue further into deep mechanics. It makes sense when he says, "Ki, I love mechanical engineering." At the same time, the same mechanical engineer, if he says to me that, "Sir, I took mechanical engineering because that was the last option available at that point of time. In that college, my parents wanted me to do engineering. I had to take engineering. That was the only subject available. I want to do computers." Now, what is the plan? So now I'm preparing for government exam because now graduation is done. It makes more logic. So showing that hardcore love for core engineering and not correlating with what you're doing now or what is you aiming to do now, that is the dichotomy. Then someone says, "Ki, sir, I love physics," but ask him first law of motion, he will give you the definition. Second law of motion, he may give you a definition. Third law of motion and correlate first and three, he is not able to do. So this is not hardcore love for physics. So, whatever you speak, whatever you say should have a substantive correlation between what is happening now. More truth you speak, more easy the interview becomes. More
Mm.
you try to put across words which you don't mean, more difficult it becomes. The correlation is as simple as that. Now, coming back further, what kind of friends do you carry? So, sir, he is my best friend. Why is he best friend? There's no reason, no rhyme. Sir, I like him. Why do you like him? Acha, what is the thing that you don't like about him? Sir, I don't like about him that he is always lazy. He doesn't have a focus. He doesn't have a goal. He doesn't know what to do. So, what advice you give to him? Sir, I tell him, have some focus in life. Now, when you say that have some focus in life, doesn't have a goal, it is actually reflecting upon you because one way or the other, you are the company you keep.
Yes,
Your
sir.
best friend is like this. If your best friend is like this, somewhat you are also this. And what does he wants to improve upon you? Again, you'll end up saying is he thinks that I do not listen to him very properly. It goes reflection into what kind of personal relations you carry with your best friend. If you don't listen to your best friend properly, then probably don't listen to anyone in the world. So basically, your social understanding of the people is very, very poor.
Mm.
Now, if you say how we have to prepare, first of all, you need to be very, very honest. Second of all, if at all you want to prepare, you have to work on your OLQs. You have to develop OLQ. I'll come on all those things factors. So this is part one of the interview which we finished just now. Broader concept.
Yes, sir.
Another concept that comes is family. Now, who all is there in the family? What kind of relation you share? What is their ambition? What do they want to do? Who is more close to you in the family, father or mother? What is the reason for that? They're very simple, basic questions. Uh, Neighborhood, who is in the neighbor? How do you spend time with the neighbors? How do you spend money? Now, isme someone says, ki, "I'm a very emotional person." Okay, why are you emotional? Because sir, sometimes I start crying. Why do you start crying? Sir, I believe that sir, sometimes I have failed. Okay, whom are you more close to? Now, when you're saying emotional and I start crying, it has a different connotation. And when you say I'm emotional and said I feel that world should progress, this is a different connotation. So when you start crying, it may not actually mean that you are a very strong person, because many people have studied somewhere if you crying is a sign of strength. So they start saying such kind of things. I'm more close to my mother because I stay with her, so my father doesn't stay with me. So if your father doesn't stay with you because he's posted somewhere else and he's earning the money through which you're progressing your education and life, can't give you the reason to be more closer to your mother. After all, he's also doing his part, staying alone. You know, another important thing about family is how much do you know your family. Many people don't know where is his brother studying, or who are the friends of the brother, and what is his ambition of life or her ambition of life. Connect is missing. Connect is missing because involvement is missing. Involvement is missing because you're too busy in your own world. What you're actually doing is you're wasting time on mobile, on phones, on movies, with friends. You're not connecting with your own family. Similarly, you're not connecting probably with your close friends. These are the things that will reflect in your family. Neighborhood you don't know, you don't associate because you say there is nobody of my age. That cannot be the reason. Ki there's nobody of my age, I'm not associating. You can associate with everyone if you want. The problem is of association, not of age. So who all is there in the neighborhood? Many people are not aware only. If you ask them name of five neighbors, they'll get puzzled because they don't connect themselves to the neighborhood. They believe their world starts beyond home somehow. Some of them will say, "Ki, sir, I've just shifted in the neighborhood." Just means how much? 6 months? I think 1 month is good enough time to know people around. Provided you are interested, when you go down, you say hello to anyone who comes. You interact with them. You associate with them. The problem is dissociation, not the time. Then, when it comes to spending time, how wisely you spend, sorry, when it comes to spending money, how wisely you spend money. Suppose you're short of money, do you try to earn it? There are people who give tuitions, then they run their requirements of filling application, or requirements of appearing in interviews. They finance that. They in fact finance their entire stay at a particular city. They manage it for their brothers also, sisters also. What are you doing about it? Are you only dependent upon your parents income at this stage to finance you, or you're not even aware that how much is your father earning, through which sources he's sending you money, what is his ambitions, what is his problem, how much loan is he carrying? There are people who are not even aware how much the father earns. Simply they say, ki, "Sir, he never discussed with me." He's never discussed with me is not the point. Point is, you've never asked. You never tried to find out ki how much does he earn and how easily or how painfully he is managing your education, his loans, your brother's education. You don't delve into it. Why don't you delve into it? Because you're not concerned and because your sense of responsibility, one of the major OQs, is very, very down. So whatever you speak, how much you involve in the family gives a lot of connotation about what kind of person you are, particularly when it comes to social awareness, cooperation, SOR, initiative. All these OQs very prominently come out. And then in the end, we speak about when the CIQ 2, by the time CIQ 1 and 2 is finished, IO has generally made up his mind to what kind of person you are. In
So
the end,
many
it
people
comes
don't know
to
what is CIQ. Can you elaborate that, sir? And how many CIQs are there?
CIQ is a total three. Basically, you can say CIQ you can understand as three broad questions.
Yes,
Or to what people also say rapid fire, it is not rapid
rapid
fire.
fire. Yes,
It is like comprehensive questioning. It is like, giving a comprehensive set of questions so that
yeah.
uh, the questions are not asked in bits and pieces. His mind focuses towards a particular set of questions. Like first was about his academics, his progress of life, his growth, his extracurricular. It is all about him, his friends. Second one was about his family, neighborhood. Third one is again about his or her, uh, how much time you waste. Basically, how practically you use your time. What are your hobbies? Do you have any hobbies? Passion is there or not? What kind of movies do you watch? That is also a reflection on the kind of person you are. There are people who watch useless movies, and that reflects on their personality also. What
Yes.
kind of books do you read? There are many people who don't read only. Majority of people don't read. So what will they do? They will remember name of some books. So moment two questions are asked about that book, they forget about it. Who is the publisher? They don't know. What was the moral of the story? That also they don't know. That is how it is. Then, what is a routine? It reflects broadly on the kind of person, how wasteful you are as a person. So there are people who say, "Ki, sir, I get up late because I study till late." Okay, then what do you do? So then I start studying. Then I prepare for my exams and I study 10 hours in the exam. He says he studies 10 hours in the exam, but he's not been able to qualify a single written exam except for AFCAT or let's say the kind of interview has come. For HCC special entry he's come. He's not been able to qualify a single written exam, but he says, "Okay, I studied 10 hours." Where are the 10 hours going? If you're preparing for simple exams like AFCAT, prepares for 10 hours, there's no reason why he shouldn't qualify. Similarly, in the evenings, what do you do? In the evening, is just I just watch some movies, or I watch Pakistani, or I watch YouTube. Pakistani shows. Some people have said I like them, sir. So slowly, what happens by the time you do CIQ 3, that is part three of your, you have already given up mentally, and now you start speaking. You cannot make up. What I mean to say is, ki you have spoken so much about yourself that your subconscious mind that you say keep putting brain to speaking is gone. Everything comes out naturally. I like Pakistani shows because they're very nice. So tell me some of the names of the Pakistani shows. They will tell you some name of. So this is exactly what he does. He is not associating with his friends. He's not going for any games. He's not running. He is, even if he says I am preparing 10 hours, he is not. Then in the end, if required, the interviewer will speak about some general awareness. So for example, in the latest trend, he might ask you, tell me something about Agniveer. And he'll start giving the version of WhatsApp that he has heard. He doesn't know the basics requirement of Agniveer. Like, what is the positives of it? If there are negatives, what are the negatives of it? He has no concept. But he has only thing which he has is WhatsApp पे जो news उसके पास है. It is very bad, sir, and this will happen, and that will happen. People will die. And it is not. But he doesn't know absolute fact about it. Why he doesn't know? Because he has not read. Why is not read? Because he has no time. He's only wasting from morning to evening. At the same time, there are people who have very refined knowledge about subjects because they are the people who are analytically reading, analyzing, going through a subject. They are not dependent upon WhatsApp for their knowledge information. They read newspaper articles thoroughly. They analyze. They in fact write about it. Then, if you go by, suppose someone says I'm preparing for MTech, his score is actually very high. So he goes out, he sits in the Gitorni or he sits in the library, diligently studies. His MTech score you'll find is very high. So all these things, all your achievements and versus all your aims, they reflect upon the kind of person you are or what kind of person you might become. And that is what I'm interested. The basic selection theory or principle remains same. Behavior consistency principle, and it says your behavior is consistent. What you did is what you'll do. What you did means to say ki the kind of person you have become by the time your personality is formed by 19, 20, 18 will remain almost same even if you're a very old person till 60, 65. My idea as an interviewer is to go back to your past, basically go to your unconscious, allow your unconscious to open, and through you I'll come to know about you. Now the question is how to prepare for interview. First of all, be honest. Second, develop your logic. Your RA has to come up. How will RA come up? Read. Read, generate awareness, generate knowledge, generate logic. Speak like a logical person. Do not depend upon any kind of news available to you. Develop your rational mind. Once it is developed, it will reflect on your speech. You'll speak like a mature personality. That is part one. Second is change the routine, which I keep emphasizing. If you say I get up daily morning at 6, do that please. If you say I run for 10 kilometers or 5 kilometers or 8 kilometers, start doing it because once you start doing it, it starts reflecting. Involve yourself with family, with your friends. Be a human being. Do not live like a robot because if you don't involve yourself, it will again reflect. Whether it is when you're talking about your friends or your teachers, whether you're talking about your brother, sister, mother, father, involvement will be seen easily. It will be seen. You'll say something, and two questions down the line, you'll again go back to definite aim is required. That is what I keep saying. Plan B has to be there. You cannot keep saying, sir, I just want to become a defense officer. That is not the line you could do. You want to become defense officer, that is well established because that's why you've come here. But suppose you don't become, which direction you're following? And that has to be a definite aim. Definite means it should be visible. Suppose you say that I want to prepare for civil services, it should be visible from your speech, the kind of subjects that you have chosen, the kind of institute you have enrolled, and the kind of knowledge you possess. It will be very clear whether you have qualified prelims or not. 3 साल से प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं, प्रीलिम्स क्लियर ही नहीं हुआ है, इसका मतलब आप सिविल सर्विसेज की तैयारी नहीं कर रहे, आप ऐसे ही टाइम पास कर रहे हैं बिकॉज एज बहुत ज्यादा है। तो हर चीज तो अपने आप डेफिनेट प्लान भी डेवलप कीजिए, अपने आप को इन्वॉल्व कीजिए सराउंडिंग में, फैमिली में, फ्रेंड्स में, पेरेंट्स के साथ, और अपना एक रूटीन बनाइए सधा हुआ, उसको डिलीजेंटली फॉलो कीजिए। और लास्ट बट नॉट द लीस्ट, do not try to fool yourself. That will not work. Be honest, be truthful. It will definitely work. That's all I had to say, Simrat. And if you have anything to add or ask, I'll be happy to
Yes, so
help.
there are many questions, but
Ah,
thank you very much, sir. First of all, for such an insightful brief
thank
which
you.
you gave, sir. Few
Actually,
questions are
actually,
there.
Simrat, this is
Yes,
a endless topic, so I can
actually,
just
yes,
go
sir.
on like that.
Yes, yes, sir.
So I just thought
Few
I'll give you a nutshell. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
few
please.
questions which aspirants generally
Hmm,
ask, sir, on the
hmm,
platform is ki, is it necessary to speak in Hindi? Is it speak in English? Or we can speak in Hindi also because many kids are from rural background. So does it affect?
Yeah, but they have to understand one thing: ki it is an all India level exam. And as far as my experience goes, you cannot escape English. So the best way is start working on the English. With Hindi, surviving in SSB is not possible.
Yes,
And frankly speaking, with Hindi, you may not come to second stage.
actually,
Getting
yes,
screened in with Hindi itself is difficult. With due respect to the language, you must also respect other languages. Malayalam is also there, Telugu is also there, Kannada is also there. So there is one uniformity required, and I believe English provides us that. So any kind of notion that Hindi will sail me through because it is a mother language is wrong. I don't think people can qualify the first stage. If at all they do so, one odd chance, and my personal opinion, I am not against or for any language. I don't think so.
yes,
If at all your English is poor for some reason, particularly
yes,
communication English, you can definitely improve it. There has to be a strong willpower. I know people who have done it.
yes,
One of the technique which I keep recommending is mirror technique. Stand in front of mirror, start speaking, look into the eye. That is your own eye, and keep speaking. Follow an idol. Let a news channel run in your background. Make an anchor. It is not so difficult. It also allows to build your RA. Logic भी बढ़ेगा, knowledge भी बढ़ेगी, flow भी आ जाएगा.
yes,
Suppose somebody is from a hardcore Hindi background, from a village, but he's put an effort and he's come to certain standard of English. It shows this man has a good determination and he will definitely have a fairer chance than someone who says, no, I'll not learn English at all. So this variation is there. Yeah, you were saying something? Sorry, I interrupted you.
yes, sir. Sir, there is actually these days every kid he is getting his
Hmm.
information either from Twitter or WhatsApp. So those days in which I at least I prepared that way, so that I used to read two newspapers for 3 4 months daily
Yes,
till my
yes,
SSB came, and I used to
yeah,
make notes out of it. Ki,
yes,
यार
yes,
newspaper के notes बना था, and then I prepared
yeah,
my current affairs in very intensive
yes,
manner. So that
yeah.
those days are actually gone, sir. People have
Hmm.
actually most of them have stopped
Yeah.
reading newspapers. So, sir, is it important, or because many people whom I interact with, they say कि sir हम YouTube videos देखते हैं. That's their current affairs का knowledge portal. So, is it important, sir? And what is the importance of this, sir?
I strongly recommend, as you said, read two newspapers. When I say two newspapers, and I understand you also mean the same, is both sides of the coin. There are certain newspapers which are aligned towards the center and some are away from the center, left and right,
Yes.
as we say. Why it is important to read two newspapers, particularly the editorial column, is then only you will be able to go into the depth of the subject. Reading allows you to imagining. When imagine goes into your mind, and as you said, making notes is basically developing your own opinion. So till the time you are not opinionated, your RA is not developed. Your reasoning ability will not develop through YouTube channels and through WhatsApp videos or whatever. RA will develop only through deep understanding of the subject that comes through reading. So I recommend the editorial channel, editorial page of the newspaper like Hindu or Times of India or Hindustan Times should be thoroughly read, understood, notes made, and your own opinion developed. Just to quote an example, Russia and Ukraine are at war. Russian side also should be there, known to you. Ukrainian side also should be known to you. The role of NATO, why India is aligning with Russia, why it didn't veto it, or why didn't it go against Russia? What are the ramifications? What are the political outcomes out of it? Is India smart or are the Russians smart? I mean to say, are the NATO countries smart? India took panga with full on it Russia. Was it a good decision? Such kind of logical, you know, uh, reasoning has to develop, and it will reflect also in a group discussions. Till the time the knowledge is deep within, the analysis will not come. Without analysis, there is no discussion. Then we'll keep beating around the bush without any knowledge. So I strongly recommend this. It should be done.
So these days, so much of radicalization is there that people
Hmm.
are either too left or too right. So, what is the as an assessor, what is the kind of person you guys are looking for? Ki, if someone like they would actually have very negative views about a particular community or particular religion or particular gender, so what is the opinion of the assessors who are sitting at the SSB while they are looking for candidates?
A good assessor will never recommend a radicalized mind.
Yes.
We don't want radical people. We don't want people who have any strong opinion against anything or for anything. A reasonable behavior or a logical understanding of the subject is very, very essential. Having unreasonable and biased opinion or hate or fear or proposition against anything is not at all. And it is a sign of angularity. It is taken very, very negatively. No one will do it.
Yes.
And people are much against it, rather very much against
Yes. Sir, one thing I've seen that many candidates ask me कि सर वो ना multiple questions पूछते साथ में और मुझे याद नहीं
it.
रहते, तो
Yeah.
क्या कैसे करें? So what
इसके
is your
कोई
advice to them, sir?
इसका कोई ट्रिक नहीं है। जो हमने अभी CIQs की बात की, आई थिंक वो वही आप पूछ रहे हो। तो CIQs इसी तरह से डिजाइन नहीं कि आपका अटेंशन खींचना चाह रहे हैं। अगर आपको याद नहीं रह रहा है तो उसका मुख्य रीजन ये कि आपका ध्यान जो है कहीं और है। आप थोड़े डरे हुए हो, थोड़े नर्वस हो। आप फ्री माइंड से जाओ। एक चीज याद रखो, इंटरव्यू आपका है, उसका नहीं जो ले रहा है। तो आपकी नर्वसनेस से फायदा घाटा सिर्फ सिर्फ आप ही को हो। अब जितना फ्री माइंड से जाओगे, जितना ओपन जाओगे माइंड से, वो आपके लिए उतने अच्छा होगा। और वो बंदा बहुत स्मार्ट बैठा है सामने। वो अगर आपने CIQ रट लिए ना और उस पैटर्न में जवाब देने लगे, वो पैटर्न बदल देगा, आप और कंफ्यूज हो जाओगे। सिंपल तरीका है, खुले मन से जाओ। अच्छा इंटरव्यूअर पहले आपको कंफर्टेबल करता है, जिसको हम कहते हैं रैपो बिल्डिंग। तो आपको वन टू वन फ्रेंड की तरह बात करता है, ताकि आप उस डर से, उस माहौल से निकल जाओ। आप खुद को भी निकालो। आप ये मान के चलो, मैं जितना फ्री रहूंगा उतना मेरा इंटरव्यू अच्छा होगा, जितना मैं स्ट्रेस डालूंगा अपने ऊपर उतना खराब होगा। आप सिर्फ एक ही चीज करो, अपना नॉलेज बिल्ड करो और किसी चीज की तैयारी मत करो। अपने रूटीन को बदलो, अपनी ना सोच को बदलो, अपनी इन्वॉल्वमेंट को बढ़ाओ। उसके अलावा सारी चीजें दिमाग से निकाल दो, फ्री होके इंटरव्यू दो। अगर आप फ्री होके नॉर्मल तरीके में कोई आपसे 10 सवाल पूछेगा, आपको 10 के 10 याद रहेंगे। बट वहां पे नहीं याद आ रहा। क्यों नहीं याद आ रहा? बिकॉज प्रेशर में हो आप। प्रेशर तो अंडरस्टूड है, आप बहुत जज्बाती हैं, आप फौज में जाना चाहते हैं। तो अगर आप जाना चाहते हैं तो पहले आप फ्री हो जाइए। अब जितना प्रेशर में आएंगे उतना गड़बड़ होगा। मान लीजिए एक आधा मिस भी हो गया तो ज्यादा घबराने की जरूरत। 10 में से आपने 5 बता दिए, 6 बता दिए और उसमें से 1-2 छूट भी गया, तो कोई पहाड़ नहीं टूट पड़ेगा। आप फ्री रहिए और खुल के बताइए। अब
Yes,
उसको चिढ़ाइए मत, सर डिड आई मिस एनीथिंग, ये सब मत कीजिए। अब अपने आप ही पूछ लेगा व्हाट एवर यू मिस्ड।
yes, sir.
और जितना आप फ्री माइंड से रहेंगे, सारा प्रेशर ही है जो आप भूल रहे हैं, आप नॉर्मल तरीके में नहीं भूलेंगे। और एक और चीज होती है जो एक पर्सनालिटी की, जिसको हम बोलते हैं ग्रास्प। तो आपका ग्रास्प थोड़ा कम है। वो क्यों कम है? ये नजर से थोड़ा प्रेशर में। आपको मूवी के इतने लंबे 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 डायलॉग्स याद हो जाते हैं, आप रिपीट भी कर देते हैं। तो इसका मतलब प्रॉब्लम वहां नहीं है, प्रॉब्लम सिर्फ यहाँ है कि आप थोड़ा घबरा रहे हैं। घबराइए मत, घबराने से सिर्फ आपका घाटा। फ्री होके दीजिए, आप विल मेक इट।
Sir, what is the importance of PIQ form for a candidate?
इट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। पीआईक्यू फॉर्म इज योर रिटन डिक्लेरेशन अबाउट योरसेल्फ। तो पीआईक्यू फॉर्म में बहुत जरूरी है क्या, शिद्दत से उसको भरें। शिद्दत से मतलब अच्छी राइटिंग में भरें, वही इंफॉर्मेशन लिखें जिनके बारे में श्योर है। झूठ ना लिखें, बढ़ा चढ़ा के ना लिखें, शॉर्टकट्स का इस्तेमाल ना करें। जो चीजें पूछी गई हैं वो लिखें। वो कह रहा है कि पॉपुलेशन ऑफ द प्लेस, तो पॉपुलेशन लिखें, अप्रोक्सीमेट लिखें। डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर है कि नहीं तो लिखें यस या नो, उसको ओमिट मत कीजिए। सेम एज अबव लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है, वो ऐसे 2 कॉलम बनाने की भी जरूरत नहीं है। पेरेंट्स के बारे में जब लिख रहे हैं अप्रोक्सीमेटली 70,000 रुपए, तो आपको पता होना चाहिए कि 70,000 रुपए पापा की तनख्वाह कैसे होती है, बेसिक कितना है, डीए कितना है। मदर को होम मेकर लिख रहे हैं, तो बट उनके सामने इनकम 40,000 रुपए लिख दे रहे हैं, तो कैसे लिख रहे हैं वो आपको पता होना चाहिए। अपनी हाइट आप लिख रहे हैं 183 सेंटीमीटर, जबकि वो कह रहा है मीटर में लिखिए, तो 1.83 मीटर। तो कहने का जरा जरा सी बारीक चीजों पे भी आपको ध्यान देना है। अगर आप प्राइवेट ट्यूशन देते हैं तो लिखिए प्राइवेट ट्यूटर अर्निंग 20,000 रुपीज अ मंथ। घबराइए मत, वहां पे आप स्टूडेंट मत लिख लीजिए। तो एक इन्फॉर्मेशन आपने छुपा ली या फॉर सम रीजन आपने दी नहीं। ऑनेस्टली भरिए, अपने बारे में भरिए, शुद्ध राइटिंग में भरिए। रनिंग राइटिंग में बिल्कुल मत भरिए, उससे पता चल जाएगा कि बंदा बहुत केयरलेस है। फिर कई लोग
Capitals,
क्या
right?
लिखते हैं, कैपिटल में लिखिए और अच्छा रहेगा। कई लोग ऐसे लिखते हैं स्कूल ऑफ कॉलेज, कॉलेज का नाम KPVVBM। हाउ डू आई नो व्हाट इज KPVVBM? तो उसको नीचे थोड़ा स्टार करके लिख दीजिए कि सो एंड सो सो एंड सो सो एंड सो सो एंड सो। आप बीई लिख रहे हैं तो मुझे क्या पता क्या बीई है, आप लिखिए बीई इन इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स एंड कम्युनिकेशन इंजीनियरिंग, बीई विद इन ब्रैकेट ईसी। सीजीपीए लिखिए, वहां पे परसेंटेज लिख देंगे, यहाँ पे सीजीपीए लिख देंगे। जितना आप क्लैरिटी से लिखेंगे उससे इतना ही क्लियर होगा कि हाँ आप इन्वॉल्व हैं, आप सीरियस हैं, आप कैजुअल नहीं। जितना आप कैजुअल लिखेंगे उतना ही आपके लिए सीरियसली उसको लेना चाहिए। बिकॉज आपने एक बार लिख के दे दिया तो क्या होता है, इंटरव्यूइंग ऑफिसर के दिमाग में पहले से आपकी एक इमेज बन गई। तो दैट इज लाइक गिविंग योर फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन इन राइटिंग, यू शुड बी वेरी वेरी केयरफुल अबाउट।
Sir, one more thing.
या
Many candidates ask कि hobbies और games हम हमारी games हम खेलते नहीं है because हमने कोई खेली नहीं है या casually खेला है जो भी खेला है गली मोहल्लों में. So what should they write? And if like someone does not play any games but he's physically fit, he is into calisthenics, he is into gymming and all. So is that okay, or you have to have some game or have to have some hobbies? Because people have started writing ki watching movies, listening to songs is also an hobby. So I find it funny actually. But what is your take, sir, as an assessor on it, sir?
hobbies reflect your personality.
Yes.
So if watching movies is your hobby, then that kind of person you are. Calisthenics is a good hobby because it is totally related to physical fitness. But let's understand कि hobbies versus games में difference है बहुत बड़ा. Games is what you play as a sports. So suppose you have been playing cricket also in your mohalla, 10-12 लड़के मिलके ग्राउंड में जाके क्रिकेट खेलते, तो वो स्पोर्ट्स है बिकॉज उसमें वो स्पिरिट आती है।
Yes.
वो क्या 10-12 लोग मिलके खेल रहे हैं, एक गेम को जीत रहे हैं या हार रहे हैं, इंटरव्यूअर उसमें इंटरेस्टेड है कि क्या आपने ऐसा कुछ किया है, यानी कि आपने टीम के अंदर कुछ किया है, योगदान दिया है, हारा है, जीता है। उसमें कई लड़के होते हैं जो स्टेट लेवल पे भी चले गए होंगे, रीजनल लेवल पे, ठीक है, और भी अच्छी बात है। मतलब आप एज ए स्पोर्ट्स आपने एक्सेल किया है, you have excelled in sports as a sports person, that gives another connotation. You have been achieving something in sports. But I understand everyone has played some sports. You might have played sports in your कॉलोनी, 12 बच्चे मिलके फुटबॉल खेल रहे हैं, वो भी स्पोर्ट्स है, उसको लिखिए आप, मे बी आई एम नॉट रिप्रेजेंटेड, दैट इज अ सेपरेट मैटर ऑल टुगेदर. रिप्रेजेंटेशन इज एक्सेलिंग इन दैट, बट नॉट प्लेइंग ऐसा होगा नहीं, होना नहीं चाहिए. हॉबीज की जब बात करें, आप इसमें पैशन के लिए क्या करते हैं, जैसे कि आप मार्शल आर्ट्स करते हैं, ट्रैकिंग करते हैं, कैलिस्थेनिक्स करते हैं, ड्राइंग करते हैं, ये सब आपकी हॉबीज और आपकी पर्सनैलिटी की ओर एक इशारा कर रहे हैं. वहीं पे आप पेनमैनशिप करते हैं, आप पोस्ट क्या बोलते हैं उसको, स्टैम्प कलेक्ट करते हैं, कॉइन कलेक्ट करते हैं, म्यूजिक सुनते हैं, ये भी आपकी पर्सनैलिटी की ओर जा रहा है. तो आपकी पर्सनैलिटी कैसी है, एडवेंचरस है, आउटगोइंग है, या इनवर्ड लुकिंग पर्सनैलिटी है कि समय निकालने के लिए कुछ भी आप किए जा रहे हैं, ये लिखने के लिए लिखे जा रहे हैं. रीडिंग इज अ गुड हैबिट, बट देन इफ यू आर सेइंग रीडिंग इज अ हैबिट, देन आई विल आस्क यू द नंबर ऑफ बुक्स दैट यू हैव read, the kind of books that you have read. So whatever you write, suppose you say trekking is my hobby, actually have you trekked or not, or just a dream to trek someday is a, it cannot be.
So,
Right.
sir, one more thing I have seen ki people, I have been asking ki technical questions जो होते हैं, science, mathematics से question. So, how much is their importance? And it has been observed by some candidates कि NDA और written entries जो हैं, उनमें ये सवाल कम पूछा जा रहा है, और जो non written entries हैं, जैसे कि TS हो गया, जैसे NCC entry, तो उनमें सवाल ज्यादा पूछ रहे हैं. So, is this a myth, or and what is the importance of these questions?
It is a pure myth. It is
Yes.
not a technical interview at all. टेक्निकल नॉलेज तो आपने अपना एग्जाम देके दिखा दिया है.
Yes.
फॉर एग्जाम्पल आप एयरफोर्स में आ रहे हैं तो आपका एक EKT अलग से होता है ना, और इंटरव्यूअर को खुद टेक्निकल नॉलेज है कि नहीं, यही डाउटफुल, पहली बात. बट क्या होता है, कोई बंदा खुल के बोल देता है कि सर मेरा तो, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया सर, आई लव फिजिक्स.
Physics.
अब जब वो लव फिजिक्स कह रहा है तो फिजिक्स कितना आता है उतना पूछने लायक इंटरव्यूअर को नॉलेज रहता ही है. तो खाली छोटा सा एक सवाल पूछ लेगा, एम्पलीट्यूड मॉड्यूलेशन. कोई कह रहा है मैं इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कम्युनिकेशन इंजीनियर हूँ, और अगर उसको एम्पलीट्यूड मॉड्यूलेशन वर्सेस फ्रीक्वेंसी मॉड्यूलेशन और क्यों करना चाहिए मॉड्यूलेशन ये नहीं पता है, तो ये दर्शाता है कि इस बंदे को यही नहीं पता है कि इसका सब्जेक्ट क्या है. वो उसके लेवल ऑफ नॉलेज को बताता है. या अगर किसी को एकदम धड़ाधड़ बताए सर एम्पलीट्यूड मॉड्यूलेशन ये है, फ्रीक्वेंसी मॉड्यूलेशन ये है, यूज है, तो इंटरव्यूअर इंप्रेस हो जाएगा, ही नोज व्हाट इज ही टॉकिंग. और
Great.
उससे और पूछेगा. So interview has nothing to do with technical knowledge at all. Whatever is the entry, it is independent of that. Because for that you have to put a technically expert interviewer, which is not the case.
Hmm.
So what he is basically asking about you is, जो तू कह रहा है वो है भी तेरे में कि नहीं. Otherwise technical knowledge आपकी पहले चेक हो चुकी है.
Yes, sir.
है कि
Sir,
नहीं?
one thing is there कि जो PIQ फॉर्म में मार्क्स पूछते हैं 10th 12th ग्रेजुएशन पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन, सो सर काफी बार ऐसा होता है कि स्टूडेंट के मार्क्स ऊपर नीचे होते हैं, कंसिस्टेंसी नहीं है, एंड समटाइम्स इट इज सीन कि मार्क्स पहले अच्छे थे, फिर धीरे धीरे ही इज सिंकिंग. सो सर उस केस में व्हाट इज द असेसर सीन कि वो क्या उससे असेस करता है कि अगर बच्चे के मार्क्स नीचे जा रहे हैं, ऊपर नीचे हैं, एंड देयर इज नॉट कंसिस्टेंसी. सो
Again, as you said, it is as you yourself said, consistency है कि नहीं.
yes.
10th में नंबर अच्छे थे, 12th में गिर गए. अच्छा चलो 12th में भी मेंटेन कर लिए, ग्रेजुएशन में जाके गिर गए, एक दो बैकलॉग आ गए. इससे ये जाहिर हो रहा है कि जब इंडिपेंडेंस मिली बच्चे को, तब उसने क्या किया. जब कॉलेज में गया रहने के लिए, तब पढ़ाई की उसने या मस्ती की. 2-3 बैकलॉग आ गए, 10th 12th तक सही था, बट ग्रेजुएशन में बैकलॉग आ रहे हैं. इसका तो यही इंडिकेशन है कि जब इंडिपेंडेंस मिली तो उसने भाई ने जो है पढ़ाई करनी बंद कर दी. सेंस ऑफ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बंदे की बहुत कम है.
Yes.
ही इज नॉट रिस्पॉन्सिबल, दैट इज व्हाट. एंड अगर कंसिस्टेंटली उसने अपने सब्जेक्ट को ग्रो किया है, उसके अलावा भी क्या किया उसने, अलावा से भी कुछ स्किल्स डेवलप कर लिए. जैसे कि कई लोग मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग पढ़ते हुए कोडिंग सीख ले रहे हैं. मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग में भी अच्छा किया, साथ में कोडिंग भी अपना एक स्किल ऐड कर लिया. कितना स्ट्रॉन्ग SOR है बच्चे का. वो फ्यूचरिस्टिकली देख रहा है कि मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग मेरा कोर सब्जेक्ट प्रिपेयर हो रहा है, साथ में मैं कंप्यूटर्स में भी अपने आप को एक्सेल कर रहा हूँ, सो आई विल बी अ बेटर मटेरियल फॉर कंपनीज. ये एक बंदा जो ऐसा है वो कोर सब्जेक्ट में फेल हुए जा रहा है, बैकलॉग पे बैकलॉग. रीजन क्या हुआ, सर आई वाज इन्वॉल्वड इन स्पोर्ट्स. Sports will not take your time of studies. Sports has different role.
Yes, sir.
You're not involved in sports. You're basically wasting your time. You thought freedom is there. माँ बाप चलो गए पीछे. अब मैं हॉस्टल में रह रहा हूँ, मस्ती कर रहा हूँ दिन रात. नंबर एग्जाम के समय दिखी जाएगी. उसमें क्या होता है आजकल सब स्ट्रिक्ट हो गए कॉलेजेस जितने भी हैं. सो दे फेल यू, दे पुट यू बैकलॉग दे देते हैं. वो दिखता है क्योंकि वो इंटरव्यू पहले से देख के रखता है. यहाँ पे ये ब्लॉग, यहाँ पे ये बैकलॉग हाईलाइट हो जाता है उसके दिमाग में कि ये तो मस्ती करके आ रहा है कॉलेज में. इफ यू आर नॉट सीरियस अबाउट बिजनेस व्हाट यू आर डूइंग देन यू आर नॉट अ सीरियस पर्सन एंड देयर इज नो स्कोप ऑफ एनी unserious person in a serious job like services or to the nation or defense services. However, in some cases there may be a reasonable explanation. One reasonable explanation can be that he was not good in that subject. He was not able to cope up. It was a new subject from him. It was a village boy. He had limitation of English. But did he overcome it over a period of time or is he still crying? If he overcome it in 1 year or let's say 6 months, he built up his knowledge. Computer नहीं आता था, सीख गया. गांव का बच्चा बहुत अच्छे में जाएगा, वो पॉजिटिव
Yes.
जाएगा.
Yes.
समझ रहे हैं ना?
No, yes, sir. Man. One
Yeah.
thing, sir, I would like to tell everyone कि if you are interested in your personal interview getting done by Commander Ranjan sir, so there's a link in the description on a Fauji Academy, sir. So sir will be available there. You can book your appointment and then your personal interview will be conducted. However, if you want a full course, because sir is into this guidance, so he has his academy called White Feather SSB. Link is in description as well. So you can contact sir, book your appointment and avail his full course. So option is up to you guys. And also share this interview with all your friends so that जितने भी myths हैं market में, because sir these days everyone is preaching
Yeah,
on
that
the
is true.
social
Lot
media.
of information. Lot of
Yes, sir.
information is there, but yeah.
Yes, sir. It's better कि
Yeah.
तुम experts से सुनो, because sir as said earlier it's someone जिन्होंने more than 2500 interviews किए हैं and he has been part of multiple boards. So sir, thank you very much for coming on our
Thank you.
platform.
Thank you,
Sir,
Simrat.
before going any words, because you have been interacting with aspirants from the last few months, so what have you seen, and if any message you would like to give them, sir?
My message very simple is कि we got scared looking at the goal. Do not look at the goal. Look at the first step towards the goal. It will make your life very easy. पहले कदम के आगे बढ़ो, पहले कदम की तरफ ही ध्यान दो. ज्यादा गोल को देख के डरने की जरूरत नहीं है. एक एक करके step by step, all the things can be done. You have it in you, you will get it. Just believe. Belief is my word. Believe and small steps, one step at a time. It is possible.
Great. So
Thank you
you
so
very
much.
much everyone for watching this video, and like, share, subscribe करो, और link और description और comment में all the links which we were talking about. So take care. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Jai Hind.